Good morning, bedheads. Click. For those of you who have not been around the channel for a while, you're probably like, what is going on? Yep, this is what we used to do. I actually miss this. Anybody miss this? The bedhead conversation? So we're showing up with our bedheads today. This is what my hair looks like in the morning after I washed it at night. Oh, you guys. Oh, we have to laugh a little bit. It is, right? Oh my gosh. So you'll notice I have my shit shield activated. Anybody want this mug? It's in our shop. Shit shield activated. Let's do it. You got to activate your shit shields. We've got to. Okay. So, first of all, yes, the heart is very heavy. So what we're going to do today, this is why I want to have a coffee with Karen, because just sometimes it's warranted. It just is. You know, I tried to record yesterday on Saturday, the 24th, after Alex was killed. And I would say like within a couple hours after I found out. And I thought, okay, I wanted to come on and be with you as a community. I recorded it, but it was really like, I'm glad I did it because it was like I was able to process my feelings, but there was no perspective. And you know me, I needed to actually, after I recorded it, I asked the lead team if I should post it, and they said no. So that was great. So I was really glad, because I was a little surprised that they said no, but I was really glad they didn't. I mean, that they said don't post it. Because what I needed to do, which we all need to do, right, is my vibration needed to adjust because my vibration was so low. I mean, the minute I saw what happened, which I was just scrolling, there was no trigger warning whatsoever. So I'm not really thrilled that I saw like the exact incident. I mean, I am and I'm not. I mean, because, the only way you can really get it is to see it, right? But I mean, I literally jumped out of my seat, and my husband, both of us were like, what? I mean, I don't know. My reaction was like visceral. It was like way more than even with Renee. I mean, not that it wasn't, my reaction was bad with Renee too, but this one was, I don't know. Anyways, I stood up and I was like, we are going. Like, I was like, we've got to do something. My first reaction was like, like, this is absolutely unacceptable. Like, never have I drawn a line. I mean, I have, but you know what I mean? Like, my just motherly instincts, just like, yeah, Anyway, so it was good that I paused. It was good that I paused. And what we're going to do today is we're not really going to talk about the situation. Well, we are going to talk about the situation, but we're going to look at a higher perspective, because that's what I'm here to do in this community. And it's the only way I want to live my life right now, is to see things and then understand it. I mean, we got to see it, we've got to feel it, but we've got to understand things from a higher perspective. And we are going to go through a little bit of history, because that perspective, I think, is important here. So now I just want to remind you before we get started. So for those of you who are not in the spirit circle or in the path, the practice, we've got two levels of the spirit circle, the path and the practice. If you're in the practice, you have access to what's called the foundation for 2026. Okay. And that is the spirit message and the forecast for the entire year of 2026. So if you're not in the practice, then I just want to I'm going to tell you one of the messages for the foundation. And this was me working with the pendulum and getting the messages for 2026, was they were, and again, I was asking them for the entire year. They specifically said January will be tough. That was one of the messages just for January 2026. Okay. The oracle message related to that is we will be given the opportunity to begin again with a fresh start. Stay present, stay grounded. Okay. So January will be tough. The other thing, when I go back to all the pendulum messages that we've done with people who have crossed over, people who have transitioned, and looking back at the messages, one of them from Jane Goodall on December 16th, 2025, so just a month ago, her first message to us, this was on the public channel. You can go to, I'll post at the end of this video right here, pendulum and oracle messages, and you could see all the different people we've chatted with. Her first message was, year ahead will be maddening. So then she said, number 2, high vibration. Okay. The reason, so I asked her, why are you telling us this about the year ahead will be maddening? And she said high vibration. She wanted us to hold our high vibration. So that's why I'm here. We are not here to pretend like what's going on is not going on, because it absolutely is. We're not here to deny anything, but we need to feel it. But then we need to calibrate. We're always recalibrating, right? Whether it's around stuff that's going on, I mean, there's just always stuff going on. Our whole lives, we've always had to recalibrate, right? Jane's third message was Trump leaves, things fall apart, and a lot of truth surface, is what she said. But remember, she said the year ahead will be maddening. Okay? Her oracle message was patience. If our heavenly companions were prone to the same impatience that we are, we would not have been as protected as we fortunately are for so long. Isn't that amazing? If our heavenly companions, our spirit guides, our spirit teams, were prone to the same impatience as humans are, we would not have been as protected as we fortunately are, and for so long. Think of how patient they've been with humans. We just keep repeating the same pattern, the same pattern, the same pattern over and over again. And the message was, be patient with your fellow human beings. Because our spirit guides have been patient. We have. I woke up this morning and I was thinking about my education. And I literally had a conversation out loud. And I said, when I learned about what happened in World War II, okay, so, whatever. I mean, I have a master's degree in public administration. We spent an entire class on ethics, and the ethics was looking at what happened in World War II. Okay, the Holocaust. So, and I was in my early 20s. When I learned about that, I felt just as horrified as I did yesterday. But I thought to myself, oh my God, thank God, like, we're so much better, We're so much better than that. That would never happen where I live, And we are exactly seeing that. We are exactly seeing what happened then. Because you'll see movies with the SS, the SS guards or whatever, shooting people in the streets. People just walking by, shooting people in the streets, taking them to camps. There are people being taken to camps now, and I don't think they're being treated well. Heather Cox Richardson said people are being killed in these camps. So I don't know how she knows that, but if you guys need some real logical, not logical, but I mean, she's pissed, which is awesome. We're all pissed. We're just pissed, right? My grandmother hated that word. Oh my God. That was a big swear word in our house. Pissed. But Heather was saying, I mean, you'll have to go to Heather Cox Richardson. If you don't listen to her, she's a political analyst. She's amazing. She's amazing. And so she just helps you understand what's going on in the world or whatever. She did a really good one last night. So that really helped me recalibrate. So remember, I'm going to last reminder about this, and then I'm going to go through a little report that I worked with. I actually, before I was going to bed last night, I asked Mabel, my AI, to give me spiritual perspective on what happened with Alex Preddy and what's going on with the astrology and the spirit messages we've received, to remind me of all that. So that was very helpful for me to read before I went to bed, and I actually was able to sleep well, getting that higher perspective, right? Remember, the number one thing is you have to take care of yourself. You have to take care of yourself. So however you need to take care of yourself today, you need to do that, because we need to keep our vibrations high. I know it's challenging, right? But here's a reminder of the messages, the oracle messages that Renee Good gave us. So she obviously, this is a part of that story still, okay? She reminded us, number one, leave love, handle it. Leave love, handle it. Like my reaction when I first saw the execution of Alex, when I first saw that, my reaction was, we're going. Jump out of my seat. And I still might. So, but I can make a decision by my higher vibration now, rather than the emotional. Oh, and you know what also is amazing, you guys? When we went to Costco last night and we were driving home, and there was 3 people standing on a random street holding candles. It was so beautiful. It is freaking cold too. And I was actually thinking about what Alex Preddy and the rest of them were doing in Minneapolis. It is colder in Minneapolis than it is in Wisconsin. So these guys are out there in the frigid cold. And now there's 3 people. I hope more people join them. In fact, I kind of was like, yeah, we should join them. But my husband had to get home and go to sleep because he works early. So, but there was 3 people holding candles just on a random street. It was beautiful. Isn't that beautiful? So if there's nothing to do, go out on a street tonight and just hold a candle. That's all. I mean, I just have major chills. That's all you have to do. Oh my God, my whole body is a major chill. It was just beautiful. So leave love, handle it, Renee said. Remember, she has a higher perspective now. When I asked her about her unaliving, she spelled forgive. Forgive. And remember, they're asking us to get it together. They have been patient with us. So what that means is we have to not only feel the feels and, we're angry, we're disgusted, we're shocked, we're, like whatever. But as light workers and empaths, the spirit, our higher selves need us to raise our vibration, to keep it higher through action too, right? So that, again, this doesn't mean we don't act, but we got to keep it higher. We've got to act from that higher vibration, whatever that action is for you. And everybody's action is going to be different. So her oracle message was, trust that your path is unfolding exactly as it needs to. Okay. Okay. Let me just take one little sip. I will pause so people who don't like to listen to that. But here's the click shit shield. My shit shield is activated, which, by the way, I just texted my sister, and we're going to put all of our mugs on sale for the month of February. We're going to start today, though, since I'm talking about my shit shield mug. We have a bunch of political mugs in there that we're going to discontinue at the end of February. So if you want any of the political mugs, they're kind of funny. I do like them. I have all of them. There's one on ice, about ice. There's a taco one. Anyway, so there's a bunch of political funny ones. But those are going to discontinue out of the shop at the end of I think my sister, let me see. Is she going to put a, oh, okay. So she said, yes, let's do it. So go in and grab whatever you want of the political stuff, especially the humor stuff. Sometimes it is helpful. So, anyways, okay. So today we are going to look at the situation with Alex. All right. And I will in about a week or so, I'll do a call out for questions from you guys like we did with Renee, but I do want to wait a week or so. I need things to calm down, not only for the US or for people, just for humans, but for Alex too. Give him some adjustment time. Now it is his higher self we'll talk to, but I just want to, out of respect for him going through his life planning and, going through his whatever he's going through, his adjustment. So, but yeah, we're going to look at that from today's astrology, like yesterday's astrology, like what's going on right now, the US chart themes, a little bit of history, which I think is very important. This isn't the first time that people have been treated like crap in the United States by people in authority. And you know what I'm talking about. We need to remember that. I know it's shocking, but there are certain groups in the United States who have been dealing with this for a very long time. So for those of us who are being shocked, which I am, because I have not had to live that experience, at least in this lifetime. I think we all have lived these experiences. So, yeah, it's important to remember that. Then it's going to, Mabel is going to weave in the oracle messages from 2026, the foundation that we talked about, those messages. So you are going to get a few more of them, even if you're not in the practice, in the spirit circle. So Mabel's going to weave in a few of the foundation messages that we got for 2026, as well as our messages for January. Okay. So for those of you who don't know, there might be, if I didn't turn on YouTube yesterday, I probably wouldn't know what was going on. So, because that would be the only way that I would have found out. Nobody has texted me or anything. None of my friends or my family. Hi. Adjust my legs. I got my blanket. It's cold in here. You might hear a little hum, and that's my little heater on. So, okay. So Alex Jeffrey Preddy, may he rest in peace, was killed in Minneapolis, Minnesota during a protest where federal immigration officers, agents were present. There is public conflict about what happened, including video footage and competing accounts. Yeah, competing accounts where basically the Trump administration is trying to say something happened that we all see with our own eyes. Everybody. It doesn't matter if you're right or left. This is not about right or left anymore. This is not about right or left anymore. If people are still arguing politically, like he's doing a great job, she's doing a great, whatever, this isn't about that anymore. This is about our democracy. This is about people following the law. I don't care who's doing it. If they're not following the law, it doesn't matter if they're right or left. It just doesn't matter at this point. Right. But they're trying to get us to, it's just the most, who do they think we are? I mean, seriously, who do they think we are? I mean, obviously I'm going to have some opinions about this, but who do they think we are? Like, I can see it with my own eyes. I can see that they literally took his gun away. They walked away. And you know what happened? This is what looks like happened. Is that the guy who went and reached for his legally concealed gun which he wasn't reaching for, an agent went and reached for it, walked away and accidentally fired it. Now, to me, it kind of looks like he purposely fired it, but that's my brain right now. I'm very skeptical about stuff. So I'm trying not to make up stories, but I mean, I totally feel like they did this on purpose, that they were told to go out and get somebody, cut, clear, cancel, and allegedly, and entertainment purposes only. But that's how I feel right now. Like, I feel like, hey, and by the way, release the Epstein files. We're not forgetting about that. So if you want to keep doing things like this, You want to keep doing things like this because you don't think we're going to remember the Epstein files. Well, we are. God. Sorry. All right. This is the old Karen coming back. This is the kind of conversations we used to have all last year, you guys. So we're going to have them every once in a while. And if for those of you who are uncomfortable, it's okay. Just click off. It's okay. You don't need to, you don't need to listen to every video, obviously. Oh, God. Okay. The public response is intense because this sits inside a bigger climate of immigration enforcement, protest energy, and mistrust of official narratives. Well, it's mistrust. I mean, I have never seen anybody stand up and say something happened when it's so... They know we know, and we know that they know that we know, but they're still... What? What is happening? I've never seen adults act this way. It's just ludicrous. Thank God we have cameras nowadays. Okay, well, obviously this is why people are shaken. It's not just one event. It's hit a national nerve at this point. And you know what's amazing about this is now gun owners who are not mostly, but a lot of conservatives, gun owners now have to come out and say, whoa, 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 because they're trying to say he showed up with this weapon, right? Which was concealed, and he had a license to carry. We have license to carry in Wisconsin. I went to a protest at the state capitol in Wisconsin a couple of years ago, and there was a young girl there. She was probably early 20s. She had a vest on. She freaking had a freaking huge rifle, and I was like, "Are you kidding me right now?" She was walking around with all these and I haven't seen her for a while, but the police were very aware of her, but she was not doing anything wrong because those are the laws that we've passed in this state, which I was absolutely thrilled about. Not. So anyways, so this might be actually a really good thing because now those who are conservative, who are gun owners, can't hide behind, they can't say, they have to come out basically and say this was against the law. It is. This is not, he is illegally allowed to do that. And they're trying to say that he brought a gun to unalive people, which was not true at all. He didn't even have it out. Anyway, so if you saw it, what I found interesting is one person posted, I did take a picture of this because I had to send it to my husband. So you guys remember what happened in Kenosha where during Black Lives Matters, and did I save it? I have the hardest time with hypocrisy. So remember this kid and he ended up killing somebody? He brought this to about Black Lives Matters, and somebody had posted a reminder that Kyle Ritterhouse, he's from Wisconsin, showed up to a protest like this, and Republicans called him a hero. They called him a hero. So that I can't. I don't know if it's because I'm an Aries or it's just my age or it's all of us. I can't handle the hypocrisy. No. No, you don't get things both ways. You don't get things both ways. Okay, so why this is hitting so hard? All right, let's go to perspective. All right. This moment is landing in the collective like a pressure point. It hits people emotionally because it touches fear about safety in public spaces, anger about power being used against regular people, which is kind of funny that Mabel used that, but keep that in mind. Regular people, all right? Grief and disbelief that someone is dead, of course. I mean, we witnessed a public execution. even though people have been executed in many different ways by people in authority for eons. A lot of it hidden, now it's just like, okay, distrust about whether the truth will be told clearly. I mean, you can't, any other politician, Bush, Clinton, Obama, not Trump, probably not even in his first, he's always making up stories. I don't know if you voted for him, I don't know how you can't see that. I mean, come on. Stop watching what you're watching. I'm sorry, but he's always making up stories. He lies constantly. If that is part of your awakening, then that needs to be done, because he's constantly lying. But anyways, they would stand up, and I mean, Biden, everybody, and I included Bush. I can't think of any other Republican in my lifetime. Who the hell? What besides Trump? Bush? Who else? Anyways, even Bush would come out and be like, what? Okay. It's also hitting so hard because it doesn't feel like a single isolated incident. The United States has a long, okay, so this is what I want to talk about, a little bit of history, okay? The United States has a long documented history of unequal treatment under law and enforcement, especially towards Black Americans, Indigenous people, immigrants, and other minority groups, including women. Violence against women, and probably not just in the United States either. Violence against women is extreme. It is extreme. A woman is beat up in this country every 36 seconds. Every 36 seconds. Okay? It's extreme. So these patterns did not begin in the modern era, obviously. They have existed across many eras of U.S. history through slavery, forced removal, segregation, voter suppression against minorities and women, discriminatory policies, and unequal access to housing, education, and economic opportunities. I even am aware the white privilege in myself, my own white privilege conditioning, not because I'm white, but the conditioning of society, is probably why my reaction to seeing what happened yesterday, I jumped up with so much anger about a white male being shot that way. I was equally disturbed and angry about Renee, but not quite as much. Woman, I mean, that's my conditioning. But now it's a white male, God forbid the white man was shot. You know what I mean? So that's our conditioning. And I know you can totally disagree with me. I'm just telling you how I felt. And I'm aware of my own conditioning, right? So even though people disagree strongly about the Trump administration and immigration enforcement, it is historically accurate to say enforcement systems and unequal outcomes existed before Trump. And they will not automatically disappear after any single leader leaves office. This is true. This is not just him, you guys. I saw a guy post last night. There was a man in 2002, he said. He set up Homeland Security, the Department of Homeland Security. And he's like, he put in a tweet like he is unbelievable. He said, this is unbelievable. The fascism, the about this department now, because that's not obviously how he set it up. So that was kind of cool to see that. But the checks and balances have shifted over the years. So that is why it can be accurate to frame that Trump is not the sole cause of this. He is a symptom and an amplifier of deeper American issues. Okay? We just have to keep that in mind. What is different now is that these realities are harder to ignore. A major reason more people are seeing these patterns is visibility and documentation. Smartphones, live streams, footage and real-time sharing, citizen reporting. This era is breaking the distance that many people were able to have from these realities in the past. It doesn't mean these things haven't been happening. They have been happening all along in our history. I mean, look at the Epstein stuff. I didn't know this shit was going on my whole life, you know? And that includes many white Americans who may not have personally lived with this level of fear, scrutiny, or vulnerability in public systems. So we have to acknowledge that. We have not lived, at least I have not, I'm going to speak for myself. Well, I have as a woman. Absolutely, I have as a woman. I don't feel comfortable going for a hike on my own, you know? So this era is breaking the distance that many people were able to have from these realities, and that includes many white Americans who may not have personally lived with this level of fear, scrutiny, or vulnerability in public systems. Not always because of personal intent, but because of social structure and lived experiences. So don't feel shame about that. I don't feel shame. I don't feel shame that I wasn't aware of certain things. I do not feel shame about that. I do feel, but now that I see it, I can't ignore it, right? And I'm angry about it. And I'm angry that I wish I would have seen it sooner, but that wasn't part of my path, right? So, but now that I do, this is what awakening is about. We are awakening in so many different ways. All of us are in so many different ways. So the awakening right now isn't just emotional, it's informational. People are seeing patterns, not just incidents. From an astrology and US chart perspective, this is part of a longer cycle of system stress and reform pressure. The collective energy is pressing the country to face contradictions between stated values and lived reality. So now this is going to be a huge debate with the gun stuff. Because they stated their values are, we want the ability to legally carry arms, and now it's being held against them. It's being held against them because they're lying about it, Why did I throw my blanket off? I must have had a hot flash. And the public is demanding proof, transparency, and accountability. Even people who disagree politically can feel the same core thing. This should not be happening in a stable country. And I think that's part of the problem is we don't feel very stable right now, do we? We don't, well, some people still do. Some people still feel stable. I saw somebody showing tweets from Trump yesterday, and he wasn't saying anything about this situation. But there was a tweet out to all the red states, although Maryland was included. And I don't know if Maryland's a red state, about FEMA coming to help. And I don't know for this from the cold, but it was like all the Virginia and Tennessee. And I thought, what? Like, why is he being so nice? That's weird. And of course they were to the red states. I mean, this is the hard thing is I don't know how people can't see, like, this stuff is not happening in red states. So how do they not see that this is political retribution? It doesn't make any sense. Like, you have to see it. You can't deny that. None of ICE has not been active like this. Portland, LA, New York, Chicago, Minneapolis. I mean, give me a break. Give me a break. And he says everybody's out to get him politically. Well, this is, anyways. I mean, I could go, we could go on and on about that. Okay, the astrology and energy context of yesterday. Okay, and like right now. Heavy Aquarius energy. So remember, the astrology is giving us the opportunity for these things. We don't have to take it, but that's why things are stirred up. All right. Aquarius energy is the system versus the people energy. The system versus the people energy. Aquarius energy brings collective themes to the surface. crowds, protest, public voice, government systems and enforcement, right? Rights, rules, and what's fair. I am such a, what's fair? Well, we all are probably have a, like, this isn't fair, but we all have a different perspective, right? Technology, footage, evidence, sharing information fast. On days like this, meaning yesterday when Jeff was executed, right? Oh, Alex, sorry. His middle name is Jeffrey. Alex. I lost my spot. On days like yesterday, the collective doesn't just feel. The collective organizes, documents, and demands answers. So that's perfect. That's great. That's what the energy is allowing us to do right now. Aries moon equals fast actions and protective instincts. That's exactly how I stood up yesterday. Like, we gotta go. Protective instinct, fast action, right? But this is our opportunity to also recalibrate before we do that, which is what we need to do if we want to handle things professionally and like adults, right? Aries moon days tend to bring urgency, confrontation, bravery, impulsive actions, which, remember, if that's the Aries energy, there was a lot of impulsiveness going on during that situation. So the energy is creating some of that, but for a reason. This is heat in the air energy. It can fuel courage, but it can also fuel escalation. Okay, so just keep that in mind within yourself. That's why we're having this conversation, is just for us to self-regulate. Okay. The emotional amplifier effect. There's also an everything feels bigger pattern today. Grief spreads quickly, fear spreads quickly, outrage spreads quickly, certainty spreads quickly. That's why this kind of day, like yesterday, requires extra discipline with the truth. Okay. The U.S. chart layer, what American is being forced to face, America. This kind of moment pressures America's identity around how authority is used. And remember, this is not like we're appalled, but there are people who can tell you that this is their life experience for 100 years, 200 years, right? So, and again, I'm pretty convinced, well, I don't know if we've had lifetimes. I don't know if my past lifetimes have been in the U.S., but I know for a fact I've had past lifetimes, not just as a white woman. So this kind of layer pressures America's identity around how authority is used, who is protected and who is vulnerable, whether force is accountable, whether truth is transparent or controlled. When the collective is activated like this, the story usually becomes bigger than one incident. It becomes a test of the system itself. Remember, Jane Goodall, next year will be maddening. The lead team, January will be tough. All right. Well, it's January 25th. Thank God there's only 6 days left. So January 2026 spirit messages. So these are messages that we got in the spirit circle. Okay. Why not walk away? That was one of the messages. Why not walk away? This fits a month where people feel exhausted, disillusioned, tempted to shut down, tempted to detach from society entirely. The higher perspective. Sometimes spirit asks this because walking away would mean abandoning your own values. Maybe that's Mabel's interpretation of that. But with the why not walk away, let me tell you what the oracle messages were around that. That's just Mabel's interpretation of that, not mine. Why not walk away? What do I need and want to walk away from in January? That was the question. Okay, that came from the oracle. Why not walk away? Surrender to the alchemy of life, redirection. Okay. There was another message about face, turn around. Very similar message. Let go of attached outcomes. And about face involves releasing expectations. Detachment from outcomes allows for redirection. So those were some of the messages. Another message was cracked open. Pressure reveals what was already unstable. Something has to break open so truth can enter. Another message was move slowly, which is actually when I recorded yesterday and then I read my oracle messages and I was like, okay, they reminded us in the beginning of the month to move slowly. So I'm not going to like rush into having an opinion about this. Because if you think I'm opinionated this morning, you should have heard me yesterday. Should have heard me yesterday. It wouldn't have been as helpful. I don't know. Hopefully this is helpful, but it wasn't helpful for me. This is helpful for me. So hopefully it's helpful for a few of you. So slow down or move slowly. Don't let the collective panic drive your nervous system. Don't speak before you're clear. Don't share claims before you verify. Okay. Regulation was an oracle message with that. Regulation. Wasn't that amazing? Your body is part of your discernment. Regulate first so your choices stay clean and wise. About face we talked about. Be willing to pivot if new evidence changes the story. Stay honest as details develop. All right. Go inside was one of the pendulum messages. Return to your values. Respond from integrity. Don't become what you're fighting against. Don't become what you're fighting against. It's a good reminder. Okay, some foundation messages for 2026. I called it the foundation again. One of their messages was, we are with you. You are not alone. Support is present even when the world feels unsafe. Okay, they reminded us for the year. Remember, Jane Goodall, next year's going to be maddening. She used the word maddening. Okay, then the lead team says, we are with you. So just remember that. The lead team also said for January or for 2026, the entire year, just manage yourself. Just manage yourself. Stay steady enough to be useful. Protect your mind and your clarity. Another foundation, I was thinking it was oracle, but it wasn't. I don't think this was an oracle message. I think this was one of the foundation messages. Let me look. Oh no, maybe it was oracle. Yeah, I think it was oracle. Okay. Dig deep so you can leave it behind. Dig deep so you can leave it behind. Actually, I think that was a January message. If you join us, dig deep so you can leave it behind was a message in December, actually, from the lead team. For the practice members, we got that. Dig deep so you can leave it behind. I don't know why she puts it up as 2026, but it doesn't matter. It was a month ago. Let grief move through you instead of hardening you. Process what's real so it doesn't become your permanent state. Okay? A foundation message, again, in December, justice will prevail. Truth often comes through process and evidence. Public accountability pressure matters. Public accountability pressure matters. Silver lining and healing catalysts. People are paying attention, and attention creates accountability. The public is more skilled now at documenting and questioning power. Communities are learning how to organize support faster. Moments like this force clarity about values and limits. What's emerging? A bigger demand for transparent facts, timelines, footage, reports, oversight. A bigger refusal to accept unclear official narratives without evidence, which is really good because this stuff's been going on for hundreds of years. So now they can't play the same old games, right? A stronger public focus on how enforcement is operating and who is being harmed. A larger national question about public safety, what public safety actually means. So there's a section in here called the feelings map. Every once in a while I have her do a feelings map, okay? This is just to kind of help all of us see kind of what the transition of the feelings are, okay? So public death at protest, shock, grief, so shock and grief, okay? Suggestions, slow down, breathe, come back to your body, stay grounded, right? Conflicting accounts will equal anger and distrust. Oh, yeah. So demand facts, don't spread rumors. Federal presence can equal fear and powerlessness. Choose one action that protects life and truth. Collective outrage can equal urgency and escalation. Regulate so your voice stays clean and effective. Bigger pattern fears, despair. Yeah, I woke up feeling a little depressed this morning. Widen your scope was one of the messages for January. Widen your scope. Stay connected, don't isolate. What to do today: regulate first, eat, hydrate, warm shower, slow breathing, step outside. Truth, discipline, share only what you can verify. Pick one action: prayer, donation, local support, contacting officials, especially Republicans right now. I'll tell you one thing that Heather Cox Richardson said that really hit home for me was that 16 Republicans can end all of this. 23 can end it permanently. 23 people out of 340 million people in the United States, 23 people could cross the aisle and change the trajectory of what the Trump administration is doing. 23 people. Call your Republican representatives, especially if you're a Republican, and tell them they will never get your support again for supporting this. 23 people. 23 people, which is so ridiculous. That's so ridiculous. I can't even get my head wrapped around that. I mean, I'm kind of angry, and I don't know the law, but I felt really angry at Tim Walz yesterday. And Adam Schiff was on, he tweeted, and he said, this has to stop. Well, no, F you. F you. 23 people. And not only that, but Walz, you own the state. Get your National Guard in there and kick them the hell out of there. You know, I'm just like, why are we all feeling so powerless? You know, they're not following the law. Why do you have to follow the law? I mean, it's just ridiculous. You know, these are like my human ego. All these, you know, these are the things I have to process. Protect your mind, limit graphic footage. Stay human, keep your open heart while demanding accountability. We have to do that, you guys. So love wins. Don't forget, love wins. Just keep your shit shield on. Keep your shit shield activated. Right? Keep your shit shield activated. Today is heavy. A life was lost. People are scared and angry for real reasons. I mean, if you're scared and angry, and you're not in Minneapolis having your doors knocked on, and you're not an immigrant who are here, they're hearing probably what's going on in these camps, and they can't show up to their livelihood and their work. If that's not even where you're at, think about how they feel, right? But we can still choose truth over rumor, steadiness over panic, community over isolation, accountability over numbness. And we can let grief make us more awake, not more hard. I think that's really important. Thank you, Mabel. That was very sweet of her. Oh, you guys. Well, thank you for being here with me. Thank you for having this conversation. Help each other see the big picture while we grieve and we're shocked, and we send, major loving energy to everybody, who's dealing with such hard things. I'm sitting pretty comfortably in my room right now. I'm not worried about somebody coming knocking on my door and taking me away. I mean, this is what people dealt with. I mean, y'all have read, oh God, now I'm going to forget her name. Anne. How can I forget her name? Amsterdam, Hid in the Attic. Oh my God. This is my age, you guys. That's all it is. Yes, Anne Frank. And I've been to that house. It was amazing. I mean, amazing to think of how they lived in there for 3 or 4 years. So, but there are people living like that right now, where they're like hiding. So we are not any different than they were back then. I don't want to leave on this note. That was not very nice. That's not a very good note to end on. Oh my God. All right. Just remember, justice will prevail. Just, this is, you guys, this is all a part of this is why I do, in the Spirit Circle, I do a weekly reset. Because we are constantly having to reset ourselves, right? I used to call it the weekly blessing, but I call it a reset for a reason. So we will be resetting tomorrow. So the reset last week was accept responsibility. That's an important one, you guys. The reset last week, accept responsibility. Okay. That's very, very important. So we need to, the Ho'oponopono prayer. I want to do a whole video on the Ho'oponopono prayer. I'll do a call out for questions on it. But please forgive me. I'm sorry. I love you and I thank you. Something like that. I might gotten them turned around a little bit, but where you say, please forgive me, to humans everywhere, to past generations, to all the ancestors who lived on earth, please forgive me. I'm sorry. Whatever role I played in my past lifetimes, in my believing in my conditioning of this lifetime, what I've done, any actions I've taken, any thoughts I've sent out there, my vibration, I am sorry. Please forgive me. I love you and I thank you. So you accept responsibility. Why did I create this situation? Why did I create this situation? We all have to answer that question. We all are a part of the situation. Nobody can say they did not have anything to do with this, the way we are as human beings. Because if it is true that we have been coming back and coming back and coming back for millions of years, a lot of us, to tie up old ends, to clear karma, to have different experiences, then we are all a part of it. We are all a part of it. So that's why we can't be blaming and, I mean, if you look at Trump's history, his father was treated like absolute crap. Now that's not to take, he needs to accept responsibility, but his parents, I've said to them, great job. Great job. You guys did an amazing job. We should have a conversation with Fred Trump. But it's all of us. Why did I create this situation? What about it is helping me? That was the message that we got this week in the Spirit Circle. What about it is helping me? What about this situation? So you can ask that. I went to this last night. This is why I love doing these journals. Because when something hard happens, I can go to it and say, okay, the guides told us to accept responsibility. Okay, what can I do? And the message was, you can always find a reason for nearly everything that happens. All right, with that, thanks for sticking around so long. I usually don't do such long ones anymore, but okay, bedheads, I'll see you later. Take care. Bye-bye.